Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining the meeting, the webinar today. My name is Pulkit, and we will get started very shortly. What we will do is we will wait for a couple of minutes for others to join. And what we are going to do is we are going to use this opportunity to get to know each other a bit better. So I see you, Caroline. I see you, Neil. Oh, Neil with a double L. And I also see you, Rajat. And I also see you, Neil. I believe that's Neil Moschas. So my name is Pulkit. I will be doing my introductions very shortly. However, I would like to hear from you. So feel free to unmute yourself or feel free to use the chat box to let me know who you are, what you do. I know some people in the room, but I don't know some other people. I think I have not met Rajat before. Neil, I obviously know, and the other Neil and Caroline would really like to know more about you. So unmute, turn on your camera, whatever works for you. Feel free. So Rajat, I see you unmuted, so feel free to have a go.
Oh, hi. My name is Rajat Todi. I'm actually calling from San Francisco area, so I've been looking at your, presentation, never got time because of the schedule. Also, I'm right now sitting in a car, 9 p.m. and, after a dinner, anyway, I didn't want it to miss today. So anyway, but yeah, I think you're doing a great job and just wanted to see your thoughts about this presentation about and I'm hoping to collaborate with you in some way because I'm also, some kind of a provider, service provider of some kind, So I run a website called Discover Excellence,
Oh,
textusa.com.
right, that's amazing. Thank you, and very kind of you to join from San Francisco at this time of the day, which is 9 p.m. back from 9 p.m. on a Monday for you guys.
Right. I really appreciate. Thank you.
No problems at all. Thank you for your kind words. I hope to make it worth your time. Anybody else? How about you, Caroline, Neil, Neil from Wanderlust, and also Adept Direct. Adept Direct. That will be Gregory. How are you, Gregory? Thank you for joining. We should get started in another minute. And by the way, this is getting recorded, so don't worry about, and you will receive a copy of the recording and the slide deck tomorrow. As usual at 10 a.m. approximately 10:30, something like that tomorrow morning. I think we have a very quiet room today. Nobody wants to chat. So in that case, in the interest of time, what we are going to do is we are going to get started, and I'm going to begin with sharing sharing my screen. And what we will do is I'll keep an eye on the chat box just to make sure that I'm not missing any questions at all. So let's start by sharing my screen. You guys should be able to see my screen. If you do have audio or video issues, feel free to let me know. So today's topic is e-commerce SEO and GEO, quick wins plus mistakes to avoid. Now, as usual, this is not a sales webinar. I will not try to sell you anything. What I try to do with all of these webinars is I try to use my 20 years of experience to share with you what works and what does not work in the space so that you can make informed decisions for your business. Before we begin, UR Digital acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which the webinar is run on, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present, and future. We also extend that respect to Aboriginal peoples present today. A little bit about us. We are a multi-award-winning digital marketing agency with a special focus on SEO, GEO, and digital PR and App Store optimization. And we've got two models done for you in consulting. This is not a sales webinar, so I won't talk more about it. A little, again, if you have not attended one of my webinars before, or if you don't know me enough, what I would, my name is Pulkit Agrawal. I'm a speaker, SEO director, and founder of UR Digital. I have been working in the SEO space for over 21 years. By education, I'm a qualified network engineer. I build my own drones, and given the property prices in Sydney, I like to call myself a monopoly property investor. Although in the last game on the weekend, I didn't have much properties left. A judge for the top 50 small business leader a couple of years ago, certified practicing marketer myself. top 50 small business leader and top 20 Australian digital marketer to work with a few years ago, an advisor for the federal government funded digital solutions program. And I also write for Inside Small Business, SEMrush, Entrepreneur.com, Koshi's Business Builder, Smart Company, Mumbrella, and a few other publications. And I also volunteer my time for the World Literacy Foundation for their product project, Reading Out of Poverty, which I'm very passionate about. Well, this is a templated slide, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you have it now, we do have a dedicated Q&A towards the end. But what I like to do is I like to take questions along the way so that I'm giving or complete clarity on a topic before moving on to the next topic. And if there are still questions left, obviously we will talk about it towards the end. If you like something, feel free to let me know using emoticons or use emojis if you want to raise your hand. Right. So e-commerce SEO and GEO, quick wins, mistakes to avoid, no fluff, just what works and what's costing you sales. One of the primary things that I would like to mention, and for any e-commerce business particularly, is there is only one objective, is maximize the sales. That's the only objective. Every person, what you want to do, every person that comes to visit your website, you want to ensure that you're doing everything possible to make sure that they are buying from you. And I'm going to talk about the strategies, a lot of the stuff that I see with some real life examples, yeah, in the form of screenshots that will really help you understand what I'm trying to say here. Right. So e-commerce in 2026 is basically you're competing for clicks, conversions, and AI citations. You're not just competing for rankings because Google is eating up a lot of traffic. If you look, when you Google anything or when you search anything, I wouldn't say just Google or Bing or any of your favorite AI engines, you're competing for clicks, you're competing for conversions, you're competing for citations. If AI is recommending your product, then you may have a sale. If AI is not recommending your product, then chances are getting a sale is going to be 10 times more difficult for you when it comes to the online world. So, first impressions matter. This is an important topic, and this is where I see the most mistakes made by small and medium businesses is the first impressions. What I mean by that is the biggest mistakes that I see is big banners, long descriptions, and no products visible. First fold optimization. This is very important. I want you to go back to the times when newspapers actually were delivered. So in Sydney Morning Herald used to be a very long newspaper. So they used to fold it in half. So the top bit was called the first fold and the bottom bit was called the second bit. So the second fold. So what the first fold had was it had bold impressions. It gave you the good start to the day. And that's exactly what happens on the website. So if you're running an e-commerce store, people are there for products. People are not there for banners. People are not there for descriptions. People are there for products. They want to make a purchase. Users come to buy. They don't come to read. Have a look at this screenshot that I have it in front of you. This is a screenshot of amazon.com.au's homepage. This is taken on a desktop, a standard screen, not like an ultra wide monitor, just a standard screen. I would also suggest you do the same thing on cell phones also. So the amount of information that they have been able to include in the first fold is a lot of information. They've been able to pack a lot of things. As you can see, there is a search bar because it is a huge library of products. Then obviously they're using some contrast with the search bar. There is a clickable banner of a recent sale that they are running. Then what you are also seeing is top product categories in drop downs. So all the product categories are available in drop downs and also other recent products and deals and any other announcements that they want to make. So the amount of information that they are able to pack in the first fold is a lot. The other things that I would suggest that you can also do is, if not already, my advice to you is whatever device you're using, doesn't matter, be it cell phones or be it desktops or laptops or tablets, whatever. I would suggest you go to these 5 websites. You go to Kmart, go to JB Hi-Fi, go to Officeworks, go to Bunnings, and go to Amazon. So JB Hi-Fi, Bunnings, Officeworks, Amazon, and there was another one I said. Go to Kmart, yes, Kmart. So what I would suggest you go to these 5 websites. And one of the things that I would suggest once you've loaded each one of them is spend a decent amount of time looking at the information that is presented on your screen. You will notice that the amount of information that they are including in the first fold is a lot. Even go to the iconic. It's a great example. Now, why that information becomes important is because that is the information a user can see without taking any action. Now, I repeat, without taking any action. An action could be a scroll, an action could be a click, an action could be a hover. The information that is presented is visible without taking any action. And that is why I keep on saying it's the first impressions that are very, very, very important. If it does the job of attracting, inviting people, attracting people, giving them all the information that they need to begin their journey, then it's going to be the most important part in your search engine optimization or conversion journey as far as SEO is concerned. Because one of the topics that search engines monitor is user interaction, the amount of time a user spends on your website, and how they are interacting with your website. If your website does a job of making the sale, it's a bonus for your website. If the website does not sell, and if they return to the search engine to do another search, then it's a negative point towards your business. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you look at your first fold, compare your first fold with the first fold of all of these major retailers, and that will give you a good idea. Now, what that looks for your business, it could be completely different for each business. Because again, I'm citing an example of Neil here. Sorry, Neil Moskos. Neil runs a Wanderlust Prints, and with Neil, he may be completely his product may be completely different to what Caroline is trying to sell, or what Gregory is trying to sell, or what Rajat is trying to sell. So this is something that is very important that I would suggest that you spend some decent amount of time looking at it. Right. So category descriptions. Again, this is a classic thing that I see, and this is very related to the first fold or the first impressions. Huge blobs of text right at the beginning of the page, any category. So if you navigate to any category, there is a huge blob of text right at the top. Why do you need the text at the top? You can move the descriptions towards the bottom of the page. Let users see the products and then content second. For example, on your screen, this screenshot does a good example. Now, even though Hayes is a very reputed chocolate brand in Australia, and they can possibly get away with this because of their brand presence, but smaller businesses that don't have this luxury, or if your business is not well known, then you do not have that luxury. See this big banner where it says the Easter collection. Now, there is no place for this banner right at the top of the page. I think the best example that I can cite, and I keep on repeating this all the time. Let me see if I can pull up an example. I am sharing my screen. I'm going to pull up an example from something that I really like. So that will be the iconic. Really good. They've done a really good job at setting up their website. So if you go to any category, say for example, if I go into the women's category, look at the amount of information they've packed in the first fold. But I'm really interested in the dresses collection. Straight away, this is my first fold. This is my first fold. I can see products left, right. I can see the filters. I can see all the products in here. And then if I keep on going down, this is for SEO. They've littered it with internal links. They're sending people to other collections. They have it on the internal links. And straight away, all of this information does not belong at the top. It does not belong at the top. All it belongs is, and this is something that if you go into any, say, for example, if you go into denim dress, again, even though they just have one dress, this is a template which sits at the bottom. Now, if you're running a Shopify store, or if you're running any form of platform, be it a WooCommerce store or a Shopify store or any form of e-commerce platform, this is doable. It's easily doable, but it's the importance of the first fold, which is going to be very, very, very important for you. Next topic. So what's going on here? Let me move this thing here. Okay. Call to actions. Obviously, we want to give people an opportunity to buy. Is hidden or unclear CTAs, but you need to have clear buttons, add to cart, buy now, view options. Why it matters? Because no action is equals to no revenue. For example, again, this is an example of Forever New. They've given up color and size options with the size guide, and there are CTA buttons, add to cart or find in store, and the name of the product. Question for each one of you in the room present today is, along with this, say for example, and I would really like a volunteer here. So if anybody would like to volunteer their business, I would like to question them, or say for example, okay, let's just put it this way. Let's just make it slightly different. So say for example, for your own business, for your own online store, what is the bare minimum basic information that must be present in the first fold? So say for example, in this one, it's a bag. So they have a color, price, and the ability to purchase or find in store. What about anything else? Can you guys think of anything else? Chat box, or unmute yourself, or feel free to talk to me about your own business. All right, looks like we have a very quiet room. Anyways, there's no harm in trying. I'll keep on trying. So I think some of the things, particularly with this example that you have in front of you, I think one of the things that they could have done better, otherwise this is good. I think measurements would have been really, really beneficial on this one. The other things that you could do is they could have links to material. They could have links to, there's a lot of things. I think Amazon does that really well, and we have it. I think I do have it in one of the screenshots going forward for detailed product pages, which is actually the next topic here. Product pages that sell. Minimal or incomplete product details. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. If all your product pages do not have complete information that a user needs to make a purchase, chances are that you are going to lose that sale. What you need to understand from an e-commerce point of view, or e-commerce SEO and GEO point of view, is that the page that they are landing on is a chance that they will convert on that particular page. They may not visit any other page of your website. In that case, every page of your website, every product page of your website must have the full journey. Now, it is not limited to size guides, materials, delivery, returns. There could be a lot more depending on the product. I mean, it could be finding a product in store, or click and collect. I don't know what that means for your business. So this is something that I would suggest you think about it, of why it is important for a user to make that decision then and there. Because the more information they have, it leads them to have more confidence in your business, which leads to better conversions. which leads to better SEO and better GEO. For example, another very good example of Amazon. Now, again, I am guilty of buying a lot of things from Amazon because I know for a fact that it's going to be a very reliable and a very smooth experience for me. But look at the amount of information they've spent on their product pages and they've standardized it. So if you look at it, if there is a sale, they're talking about it right here. You can see that there are clickable buttons for the type of transaction. It's a secure transaction, it's a free delivery, and there is also a link to the returns policy, along with the button to add to cart and buy now. On top of that, who the seller is, whether the item is returnable or not, and the type of transaction. And on the far right hand side in the widget, in stock and delivers study estimated delivery date as well. So the amount of information that they have packed, and obviously a product imagery on the left, along with the video and high quality product images. Very, very, very important. Once you are past this, then you are presented with something like this. What it does is it includes detailed product information, either its technical details or additional information. Now, I want I want to give you guys something that we are going to talk about very shortly. See that customer reviews, 4.7 out of 5 stars, and there is a link to 1041, which is the number of reviews that they currently have on that product. This is going to be very important that we discuss. Now, I also want you to, on the left-hand side of this screenshot in front of you, what I would like you to do is think about the last item, which is ASIN number and the item model number. Extremely important. If you are reselling a commercially available product, or if you have unique model numbers, including them in your product specifications are going to be very important. I'm going to give you a real life practical example of how I use this information or how I have used this information in recent times to make an informed decision. So next month, we are going to be exhibiting at the Retail Expo at Retail Fest in the Gold Coast. And I wanted to buy a television. Okay. So I went on to Samsung's website and I decided which television I wanted to purchase because we want to take it to the expo. And I took the model number of that television and then I opened a new browser and I searched for that model number on Google or Bing, doesn't matter which one. And all of a sudden, everywhere I was able to find the price for that item because we were looking for the cheapest price. Who wants to pay extra? And that's how I was able to find and place an order for a television using the model number. If you don't mention the model number on your website or on your product pages, there is no way Google is going to be able to return it to the users. So the chance of sale is gone completely. So again, it goes on to showing how much details are needed when it comes to, again, it really depends on what type of product. Not model numbers are not applicable to all products. And this is just an example of a real use case of how I use the model number or how I use model number personally to find the best price and make a purchase. Right. So this is another mistake that I see all the time. Most e-commerce businesses, they only focus on the product pages. My advice to you is you need to look at 3 types of content: before purchase, during purchase, and after purchase. Okay. Before they make a decision, once they've placed an order, which is during purchase, and after they have received their product. Again, before purchase, during purchase, and after purchase. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples on this one. Now, if Neil, are you okay is it okay if I use your example for Wanderlust prints to convey my point better? If that is okay with you, Neil? I think Neil is gone quiet, so I won't use Neil's example, and because we don't have his permission, we're going to use a different example in that case. I'm just going to make up something. Right, so, and this is what it looks like. So content funnel, there are three stages of a content funnel: tofu, mofu, and bofu, which is top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. And then there is after purchase, which is after they've made a purchase and they've received that product. You can think about blog posts or social media posts, infographics, multimedia, video or podcast, newsletters, white papers, educational resources, webinars, surveys, downloads, promotional material, and decision stage could be case studies, demos, trials, consultations, customer stories, and events. So I want to show you what a real life example. Oh, sorry. So Neil gave the go ahead. Okay. So Neil runs the business Wanderlust Prints, and Neil and Linda, husband and wife team, and they say so. Linda is a photographer, exceptional work she does, and she takes these beautiful photographs, and then they sell them either via gallery or via the online, actually via the online model only now, unless things have changed. So one of the things that they do is one of the things what it could look like before purchase, what it could look like during purchase, and what it could look like after purchase. So one example before purchase is, will it look good on my room, in my room, wherever. So say, for example, I choose a painting or a picture, actually. I choose a picture or a print. Will it look good for the room that I am wanting to do? So visual, so a visual mock-up could be great. It's a great simpler tool that, okay, analyze it in your own room. There's a lot of tools that allow you to do that. That's a great way for you to, because even though the print itself is great, people may want to see, okay, how does it look in my, wherever I want to place it. So that's a great example of before purchase. Another great example of before purchase is, how are you going to ship the product to me? Very important. Which is, are you going to roll it up? Is it going to be in a frame? All those type of questions extremely important. Now, during purchase could be an example of shipment tracking, or during purchase. So once they have purchased their product, so it gives them what is called a feel good dopamine, because they purchased a product, and how to unwrap your product, or how to hang your picture frame or your print, or how to take care of your, sorry, how to, what's in a box. That's a great example of during purchase. How do I hang it up? What type of screws do you need? How do you hang it? What type of, all of those things. And after purchase is care instructions. A simpler thing. How do you take care of your purchase? It's a care instructions is a good one. It's a very classic example. Care instructions. What else can be there for after purchase? It could be, what if there is what if there is there are common issues, how to fix those common issues. All of those things are great examples for you to use for before purchase, during purchase, and post purchase. Now, if you don't have that content, and one of the other things that you would see for any of the services that you guys provide, or whatever you're trying to sell online, if you try to look up any of the websites that are currently ranking, chances are that a good number of those websites are already including that information on their website. Hence, Google is trusting them more, because all of that content is interrelated. Uh, thank you, Neil, for volunteering to be a part of this. Let's keep on going. If there are, is there any question? Otherwise, we can keep on going. I'm gonna give it another minute. Otherwise, we will keep on going. I think Neil is typing something. Okay, so looks like there are no questions, so we will keep on going. Right. So I would also suggest that if you're unsure about the content marketing funnel, here's a QR code for a blog post that we've written, which is content marketing funnel explained for business leaders in simpler terms. So you can scan the QR code to read about that blog post. I think it's great value, and believe me or not, believe me, that content ranks really well. Right, visibility and discovery, third part. So isolated product pages, internal linking. Again, I see this all the time. I think this is the most underrated SEO tip, which is internal linking. You must have internal links between products, categories, related items, because it helps improve discovery and it also boosts your SEO. I want to pull up that example of the iconic one more time. Now, if you look at this one, they have one dress. And even in that one dress, they have this write-up, which is not more than, I would say, 200 words. Yet they have four internal links and one bold bit, which is this one, this one, this one, and this one here. If I go back to the original one, again, look at the amount of internal links that they are including. Because all of these, they form anchor texts. And these variation in anchor texts, they really help with your SEO, and it also helps improve the discovery of your website. And by the way, let me open up JB Hi-Fi as well. And they use a similar one with slightly different variation. Again, now all of these elements are clickable. If I click on this, I will straight away go on to whatever is being displayed in the banner. But that's not the point of discussion here. They are the mobile phones. And then if you keep on going down, again, see this. After the pagination, they have the content, and within the content, look at the amount of internal links that they are including. So don't look at things in silos. What I would suggest is use internal linking to your advantage, because you may have seen things like products related to this item, or customers who viewed this item also viewed this. These are all simpler things that you can set up on your all current e-commerce platforms do support all of these enhancements, I must say. So I would highly recommend that you use internal linking to your advantage. What you can internal link to, I mean, there are some classic things like size guides, pricing charts, demos, trials, whatever your objective is, or watching a video, or a library, knowledge base. There could be tons and tons and tons of things that you could do. Title tags. This is again a bit underrated, or not given its due credit. I think random or generic titles, they don't do justice to any website. What I would suggest, and the easiest way that you can do, and I want to do a quick example here. Where is my browser? So by Sydney Harbor Friends, say for example. Now what I would like you to do is pay a very close attention. So obviously these are all sponsored products, but if you look at this, have a look at this blue link, Shop Sydney Harbor Wall Art Photography Prints. Sydney Harbor Bridge Art Prints, original photography. If you keep on going down, again, there are some images here. This we are going to talk about it very shortly. Sydney Art, archival prints, again, New South Wales Government, by Sydney Harbor Bridge Art Print, Shop Sydney Harbor Prints. Sydney Harbour travel wall art print or canvas. This is telling now when you start reading all of these things, it starts to tell you it starts to showcase a pattern to you. And that pattern is very important because clearly they are ranking for this particular keyword by Sydney Harbour Prints. What you can do is use this intelligence and create your own title tags accordingly. For example, over here, shop, wall, art, photography, prints. Photography, art, prints. So through our lens is not using, and this is for Harbour Bridge. However, this is for the Sydney Harbour. I'm going to ignore the New South Wales government one because government can get away with anything. Sydney art, I'm not sure. Sydney art prints or Sydney fine art photography for sale. Not sure about, not great fan of this title tag. By Sydney Harbour Bridge art print. Sydney Harbour travel wall art print or canvas. It's giving you simpler patterns that you would actually analyze across your individual products and get them curated for your own business. Sorry, does anyone have any questions up until now for the title tags? No, looks like no questions. I think we are still holding strong. We're still holding quiet and we're still holding strong. So that's great. If you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat box and I would be happy to assist. Right, looks like no questions. So we'll keep on going. Now, Google Merchant Center. Question for everyone. How many of you are actually using it? Yes or no, thumbs up, thumbs down, unmute and let me know, or mute and anything, any other module. So we've got one response. Neil is using it, which is great. And Neil with the double L is also using it, which is amazing. So, sorry, Neil has a question. You have your hand up, Neil. How can I be of assistance? Looks like Neil has some questions. Are you typing them in or are you unmuting yourself? It could mean a couple of things. It could mean that he's actually using it, or it could mean that he has a question. If you do have a question, feel free to type it in or unmute yourself, Neil. So Google Merchant Center is extremely important if you want your products found via Google. I would highly recommend, if you're not using it, I would suggest you set it up. And it's pretty easy to get started. Go to Google Merchant Center, sign in with your business Gmail or whatever email is connected to your Google account, add your website, verify your website, upload your products via feed or platform. I would recommend you don't do a manual upload because it can be a terrible mistake. If you have hundreds of products, maintaining the product inventory is going to be a nightmare. I would suggest most of the modern e-commerce platforms like WooCommerce or Shopify, they connect directly to your Google Merchant Center and improve the feed. They send the products to Google via the feed. So here is what it looks like. Now, if your feed quality is not great, that means if Google will only rely on the information that it is getting from the feed. So the more information Google is able to get, the better it will display your products. Along with individual product page, SEO is going to be extremely important. Now on the screenshot, you can see that there are a total of 272 products. One of them is not approved. Another one is 135 is limited and 136 products are approved. That means pretty much just 136 products are being displayed. The other remaining products, which is 136, are not being displayed on Google or have extremely limited visibility on Google. So spend a decent amount of time standardizing your feed quality in your Shopify store or your WooCommerce store, even if you're using custom attributes, make sure that all the information is being translated into Google and they are able to see everything to display your products in the Google Merchant Center. Product feed quality. Messy, inconsistent product data, it's going to be a problem. Structured, clean product feed, extremely important, better visibility across your Google surfaces. And this is how the product feed gets displayed on multiple shopping options or multiple buying options. Now, one of the things I did mention earlier on is Google actually monitors the conversions itself as well. So if a user comes to your website and actually goes ahead and makes a purchase on your website, it's going to be beneficial for your business because using Chrome data, Google is able to pick up that information. If the user does not do that, or a lot of users don't do that, then you may find your ranking struggle a little bit. And this is how the products will get displayed. So if you want to go, Google has a great resource called free listings for products, and I would suggest you go into the requirements to see exactly what Google wants. So next question, image quality. Who thinks high resolution images are important for making a sale? Are high quality images important for making a sale? Anyone? Yes, you're right. Yet I also see a lot of sites with not so high quality product images. Again, going back to the earlier example of I wanted to order some products from Alibaba in China, and the amount of time I spent looking at the imagery and the detailed high quality images, they made it very easy for me to choose a product, and it made it very easy for me to reach out to them and negotiate the transaction. So high quality images are extremely important because they allow people to see and they allow people to almost touch and feel the product like a tangible product, that there's something that they're holding in their hand. They influence click, and they also increase the trust a user has in your product. Very important. Reviews. Now, if you don't have reviews on your website for your products, I would encourage you to have reviews of your, allow your customers to leave a review of your product on your website. You can do the moderation, which is completely fine, but UGC content or user generated content, it is extremely powerful when it comes to users, when it comes to search engines, SEO and GEO, because they provide first-hand account of what people are seeing when they're actually buying your product, or what they're going to get when they're actually buying your product. So user generated content is extremely important, and it does one more thing, which is going to be discussed very shortly. So encourage and display reviews. Social proof drives conversions, and search engines love user generated content. This is another example of reviews. Again, this is a terrible, this is a Google business profile review, but I think we've seen the reviews on Amazon earlier. So I think that's going to be good, or maybe I can show it on one of the other ones. Where did my JV hack, I think, go? If I pick up any product, say for example, I take this one. No, I'm not sure. So there you go. So they have a review section here. See that? So there are currently no reviews for this product, maybe because it's a new product or whatever the reason may be. But there is an JBI does have a lot of reviews that they have, and encouraging your users to leave review is a great mechanism for you to drive more users and search engines to your website and drive those conversions. Now, A couple of things that I have not spoken about in this, but I think they are very important from e-commerce point of view. How many of you are tracking cart abandonment? Is anyone tracking cart abandonment? If not, it could be a great way for you to recover some sales. Cart abandonment, which is very real, but whatever sale you can recover from cart abandonment, that would be great. And the other thing that I would suggest, now this is something I think JB Hi-Fi, I saw it earlier. I'm not sure if I can show if that would pop up again or not. Let me see if it would. No, it does not. Let me try in a incognito browser to see if it pops up again. Unless it's tracking my IP address, then only it won't pop up. But anyways, what I'm trying to say here, let's see. So given it my location, anyways, what I was trying to say, and there was a pop-up here that I kind of wanted to show you, but clearly I can't show right now, is because it's not popping up. Is there the pop-up is $10 off your next order or something like that? And I think Iconic also used to run similar promotions, and those $10 off or $20 off or whatever that looks like, they are of that's the value they're placing on your email address. That's the value they're placing to your email address. And if you can give someone, I mean, 10% off or whatever that is, I don't know what that is, but whatever you can give a user off in exchange for their email address, that's, in my opinion, is a conversion, because you can now actually email that user and convince them to make a purchase from you. So that's a great model for you to do it. If you're not already doing it, I would suggest you introduce some form of entry intent pop-ups and exit intent pop-ups, and also time delay pop-ups. They can be very beneficial for you to drive those conversions. Last topic for today is GEO, AI visibility. Before I talk about this one, question. How many of you have heard about schema markups or rich data or structured markup? One and the same thing, fancy names. Has anyone heard about structured data markup, rich results snippet? Okay, so Neil has. Amazing. So again, question, do you believe that your structured data markup is fully optimized? Could be a yes or no question. Nice. If you believe your product structured data markup is fully optimized, then that's amazing. If not, then I would suggest you look up the product schema markup, take the help of ChatGPT or your favorite LLM tool to create those structured data markups. They are very simple. You can add your schema markup to product pages, category pages. You can add them to your knowledge base or FAQ if you do have them, or you can also add them to your homepage as an organization schema. They help AI and Google understand your content much, much, much better. Ideally, you must have a name, image, offer. If there is a review, you can include the review, returns policy, or shipping information. You can match the schema. You must match the schema with the visible page content, and don't add misleading or hidden data. Keep your information updated. You can use JSON LD or any micro MDF micro data format that works for your setup. And if it is not on the page, don't add it in the schema. So reviews, if you do have them, review is a great one. Name is there, image is there, offer is there. Primary image of, because that's what gets displayed in Google SERPs. Again, very important to mark those conversions. Actually, what that looks like is something like this. If I do a search for what is this? Oh, it's too long names. Let's try women's dresses. So see these images on the right, whereas Forever New does not have it, whereas this Femme collection or Forecast has it. Again, Sports Girl has it. The Iconic has it. So again, if you look at this image, this particular image, and if I open this particular URL, let's find that image, which should be one of this one. Is it this? Yeah, it's that one. It's that particular image that is being used as a primary image of to be displayed. In this particular one, it's using a grid, and for Perfect Stranger, it is also using a grid. So adding your image for the entire collection are also very important and can help drive users to your site, because when they see the product, they're able to see the visual of the product rather than going into the website and then looking at it. You must validate your schema using Google's rich results test tool. Fix all critical errors, improve warnings if possible. You can also use the Google Rich Results Test tool or Schema Validator. You can test with Google. Check if Google can crawl your page and request indexing from Google Search Console. Submit a sitemap via Search Console or Bing Webmaster Tools and update schema when, and it gets also displayed and as product enhancements in Google Search Console. That also becomes very beneficial for you to know what schemas Google has already identified. Right. So final thought, e-commerce SEO is simple. I mean, I like to think it is simple. Show products, answer questions, make it easy to buy, and make it easy to find. A recap of what we discussed today: clean first fold, product descriptions, sorry, category descriptions or content does not belong in the first fold. Feel free to put it after the pagination. Category descriptions again below the fold. Use internal linking for your advantage. Use clear call to actions and or guide users to take an action. Add complete product information which removes buying friction. We've already spoken about internal links. Optimize your title tags, optimize your meta description tags. Set up your Google Merchant Center, keep it healthy. Make sure your product feed is clean and structured, and use high quality images and collect reviews from your customer. Encourage them to leave a review on your website. Add a structured data markup which will help AI and Google understand you, your business, and your products. And create content across the full customer journey, not just one part of the journey. So not just pre-purchase, but also during purchase and post-purchase. Right. It's like we've got a few minutes, so time for questions. You had a quiet room, so I'm not sure if anyone wants to ask any questions. Okay. Okay, Caroline, yes, you can use AI to optimize it. Can I see step 3 and step 4 for schema again? Absolutely. Let me go back a few steps. Sorry, I missed that question. There you go. Caroline, it's on your screen. The step 3 is validating your schema. You can either use schema.org's validator, or you can use Google Rich Results test tool. You can either input your URL and it will do the test, or you can actually upload the code and it will do the test. The other thing that you can do, if you do have access to, put it this way, if you do have access to OpenAI or any LLM API, then you can also use it via API to check your rich results. And you can also do a test. It's called the URL inspection tool. And this is something that you can do it via your Google Search Console, URL inspection tool. I have covered it extensively in my previous webinars. And check if Google can crawl your page. If Google can crawl your page, then I would suggest you submit it for indexation, which will basically, once the page is indexed and if everything is fine, the results will start to display within the first 12 hours. So I'll give you an example. Some of the content I was uploading for one of our clients' website on Sunday, and it was ranking on number one, or sorry, not number one is not the right term, in the top 3 positions within the first hour. And on that's for Bing. And for Google, it started to rank on Google within 12 hours, which is a very usual time for Google because Google does prelim indexing first and then a full index a bit later down after a few hours. So that's a great way for you to get instant results. And this is something that I've been advocating across the board. I hope that answers your question, Caroline. And yes, you can use AI to optimize your schema markup and your structured data feeds as well. That is correct. Right. Let's keep it on the chat box. Otherwise, I'm going to miss another chat. Go back. Let's see. Looks like no other questions. Any other questions? Looks like no questions. Okie dokie. So, okay. So next month we are changing a little bit of a track here, which is we are going into industries with some of our webinars. And the next month is our first one, which is law firm SEO, which is how to attract high value clients. Now, clearly you guys are in e-commerce space, so this does not apply to you. But what I would recommend is if you do know any lawyer friends, send them, give them this link or let them know if this may be of interest to them. Feel free to share. And today's webinar's recording and slide deck you will receive tomorrow as usual. Recording, slide deck, and one other thing that you will receive is a short survey. Uh, Not a lot of people, we do have a lot of people who come to our webinars, but they don't take the survey. So can I request that you take that survey? It does not take a long time and your results are will never be sold and they're only for improving our webinar delivery going forward. So please do consider that time. It only takes a few minutes, couple of minutes actually, and it really, really helps us to improve and better deliver. And if you do have any suggestion of the topics, so one of the things in the survey going forward is if you do have topic suggestions, feel free to put it out. What we try to do is we try to identify the latest topics and to use them in our webinars. However, we are not perfect, so we can miss a topic. Hence, I would recommend that if you do have some topics, feel free to suggest them. Now, if you're not following us on LinkedIn or Facebook, feel free to do to check the latest events. And one of the things, and please do take a moment to see, we have spent a lot of time building our new website. It's urdigital.com.au. If you've not seen it already, please do have a look at it. Any feedback, good, bad, or ugly, it will be humbly accepted. We spent 1,000 man-hours between our team to actually get this to where we want it to be, and maybe even more. I don't even know. So uh, we will try to, and continuous improvements are being made to the website as we see. The other thing that I wanted to chat about was next month, we are going to be at the Retail Fest at the Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Center on from 5th to 7th of May at booth number 71. So if you are around in the area on that time, feel free to drop by. It's at the Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Center from 5th May to the 7th of May. I would love to see you guys there. If not, then we will stay connected via the online medium. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining. I hope this was worth your time. I hope you were able to take away something that you can apply on your business. And if you run into any questions, feel free to reach out and we will always be happy to assist. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And I hope all of you had a great Easter break, which should have been the first thing that I said, but it's the last thing that I'm saying, which also makes it memorable. Anyways, so see you guys in one of our next webinars. So Neil is typing. Yes, sir. Thank you, Neil. And thank you, Neil. Thank you, Rajat from San Francisco at this time of the hour. And thank you,
Thank you.
Neil.
A great presentation.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. And thank you, Gregory, for staying with us all the way towards the end. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, guys.